to the Ether Torch. Today on the table we're going to be taking a look at some models from Mr. Modulorka. As you can see in front of me, I've got a giant pile of orcs. I think it's every orc player's dream to have a giant pile of bits sitting in front of them, and it's almost a shame to see them go, but I really want to build these models. So I've printed out something from a bunch of different kits he has, from the lads to the hunters to some speed freaks and some jetpack guys. I got bases for everybody, different weapons from all the kits, chain axes, regular axes, guns. All the different types of guys come with different shoulder armors and chest armors. So you got lots of options if you didn't gather that from the name. So there's also a game that goes along with his stuff. I'm going to be trying it out here with my brother in a couple days, so that's why I'm throwing these together instead of just printing more and more and adding to the pile. So we're going to get started here. The first thing we're going to do is sort out this massive pile and see what we got to work with. So let's get started. So I started by just taking the bases out of the way. They take up a lot of space and I can see them off to the side pretty easily. Then we're going to sort out all the bodies, the legs, so I know what needs to go with what. And then we're going to sort the weapons by left and right hands. I printed out all their bludgeons in this game, but choppas and pistols for right and left hands. And then a couple of the weapons in the top right here are two-handed, so they needed a specific right and left hand to work, so that's why they're set off to the side. Now with everything all organized, we're going to jump right into the building. First thing we're doing is I had assembled 5 of the guys already, so we're going to start by just slapping those guys on the bases. Having a base to start with. Then once we get the guys that are already built ready, we're going to go ahead and start putting together the rest of the torsos and bodies. The 3 guys on the bottom are the jetpack guys, so we're going to save those for last because they've got some extra stuff to attach to them, and the arms go together a little bit differently. I had also printed out a bike, which are those wheels in the top center, but once I sorted everything out, I realized I was missing some parts for it, so I just took it off the table. It's going to get put together later. We're slapping together the final 3 torsos for the jetpack guys, and just the amount of details on these sculpts and how much of it actually came out, and all of these I printed were the pre-supported files, and they just worked. I mean, I have my settings that I've been working on for a while that worked well, but the amount of detail in these was crazy, and some of the parts were extremely thin, and the pre-supported stuff worked perfectly. The first guy I decided to put together here was the machine gunner. His torso did specifically go with the gun, so the arms lined up, but the gun does just have one hand on it, so you could use it for anybody, having them shoot with one hand or posing it differently. The handle arm I got in place eventually. It took me a little bit of finagling here. I dropped it a couple times. Probably should have tried to use some tweezers for that to get it into place, but we got it. And you'll see here I'm using some just regular Loctite super glue. I found it works really well for 3D printed stuff. And then a little bit of accelerator. I don't spray it out of the bottle because it gets everywhere and it kind of smells. I just unscrew the top and just use the little stick to dip a little drop of it where the super glue is to get that going. It works really well and they go together really fast. I would definitely recommend using some sticky tack to hold down your bottle of accelerator if you're going to leave the cap open. So it's easy access, but I've knocked it over before, so this is learning from experience. And with the second shoulder pad put on, I'm going to call this guy good. Nice machine gunner for the crew. The next couple guys are going to be basic boys, or in this game lads. I've got some from the Horde faction and some from the Hunters faction. We got lots of different weapons from both factions to choose from. I've also got some weapons from the Speed Freaks faction. So we're just going to slap them all together and see what we can come up with. There's something very satisfying about working without any sort of plan. Just a giant pile of bits in front of you and however you feel like it should go together. I'm definitely going to be doing this again. I need to print out lots more weapons, more shooters and stuff. I'll probably end up with way more of these guys than I need. This guy here was another gun that needed two specific arms for it and a specific torso. But this gun, the Hunter shotgun, I believe is what it's called. It comes in different variations too, so you can have them reloading and all sorts of different things if you wanted to use it on different torsos. I really like how it looks, and I'll probably end up putting it on some jump pack guys too at some point, because I think that's hilarious, having a guy jumping in with a shotgun. The hunter faction has a lot of really cool details on their torsos and legs with the animal skins and stuff, just like the beast snagas from GW. So they're really neat to work with, and my next pile of orcs is definitely going to have more of their bits to blend in with some other stuff. Try to make a in-between of boys and beast snagas so I can use them for whatever I want. And for the last three guys, we're going to start working on the jetpacks. The jetpacks themselves come in a bunch of different pieces and they're all interchangeable. So that was pretty awesome. Just being able to print out a bunch of different shapes and throw them all together and make them to look however I wanted them to look. While waiting for the jetpack guys to dry, I went back to finish up some of the hunter models here. These chain axes are really cool, and I need to do some more of them. I also saw some supports that were holding the really small strings and totems up. I just took a little knife and plucked them out of there as gently as I could. Finish this guy up. I did run into a little bit of trouble here with the smoke coming out of the jetpacks. Some of the bodies didn't want to line up with it as well as I would have liked. I ended up with some interesting poses that I would have never thought of before. It ended up working out in the end, but it's definitely something to look out for. They also come, the files themselves, with regular flight stand bases as well that you could use. And for the final step here, we're going to put the jump pack lads onto their bases. And that'll be all the guys that I have printed out ready to go. Overall, it was a really fun process. Some of the parts were a little more finicky than others, and it's definitely extremely modular, as the name would suggest. I really liked working with them, if you haven't gathered that, and I'm a huge fan of orcs, so definitely going to be more of these guys in my future. I did have a little bit of trouble here getting the smokestacks on the bases, but I think I printed out the wrong bases for them, or grabbed the wrong. And with that, all of the guys are done, so let's take a look at them. I don't have any fancy equipment to spin them, so I had to do it all by hand, but that'll be a new purchase whenever I can. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video and taking a look at these models from Mr. Modulorka. They're really fun to build and put together. The sculpts are very creative and very orky. They fit alongside pretty well with the GW ones. They're a lot bigger. If you want them to be the normal scale of boys, you got to print them at about 80%. I did these guys at around 90, so they're a little bit bigger. And as we're going through here, you'll see some special orcs here that weren't part of the build. He does have like one-off characters too. All the parts are still modular, but they've just got a more unified design, like war bosses, the retro orc, and some game characters reimagined as orcs too. A lot of fun stuff. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Let me know if there's anything I can improve on. I definitely know I need a turntable for the end here. And this is my first video, so it's a very large learning process for all the editing. So let me know if there's anything I can improve on. And if you have any suggestions, let me know down below. And if you enjoyed it, give me a like and a subscribe if you want to see more. And thank you everyone for watching.